Hello and welcome to Saturday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today we're going to be taking a look at the puzzle on the screen. Now, if you look at this puzzle for a moment or two, you might say, what's going on? It's a 10 by 10 grid, and you'd be quite right. This puzzle is called Smorg, which I've just realised I should have looked up what Smorg meant. I know Smorg is in smorgasbord. Smorg. It's not the same as Smaug, is it? That's the Hobbit's dragon. Smorg. I don't know what Smorg is. I'm so sorry. I don't. But the puzzle is by Jacob and Woofers a name I always struggle to know how to pronounce correctly. It might be Woofer ZFG, or it might be Woofers FG, but I'm going to call Woofers for gig, because that amuses me. Now, the interesting thing about this puzzle, apart from it being a 10 by 10 grid, is that this is a so-called chaos construction, which means, well, as you can see, there are no regions given in this puzzle, and we have to discover where the regions are ourselves. Now, normally these puzzles are ferociously difficult, but this one, I am assured, and we've had this recommended a lot of times, this one is actually approachable, so we should be able to get our teeth stuck into this relatively easily. And if you're either new to Sudoku variants or you've never solved a chaos construction puzzle, apparently this is the one to cut your teeth on. I'll run you through the rules in just a second. My first job today, though, is an important one. I need to say a very happy birthday to one of our youngest viewers, Violet. I think you turned 3 today. And if you did, I want to wish you a very, very happy birthday. Your daddy let us know that it was your birthday today, and I know you've been watching Cracking the Cryptic for a while, even though you were only 2 yesterday. This is amazing to us, and we are so pleased to hear that you enjoy the channel, and I hope you have had an amazing cake for your birthday today and some great toys. So Violet, many, many happy returns of the day. Now, other news, what do I need to tell you about? I need to tell you, firstly, I want to recommend a video, actually. I hinted that I had a great April Fool's puzzle for Mark, and Mark did try this Demono puzzle yesterday. It's worth watching that video. Mark even has a little bit of a go at fooling the audience as well. So I won't tell you how that happens, but it is a very entertaining video. And some of you have been asking about the outro music to Mark's video, which is indeed absolutely beautiful. And that is the work of none other than Kurt Hugo Schneider, who some of you will know is an American music producer, music maker, and general polymath. And he's been a great friend to the channel since our early days. So yeah, we love that piece of music, and yeah, we think you will too, so have a look at that. Other than that, we've been astonished as usual by the response to our latest Patreon reward, which we only published at 4 PM yesterday, and somehow hundreds of you have solved it already, which is ridiculous. So very, very well done if you're one of those hundreds, and if you're not, do check it out. The feedback so far seems to be as we thought. The puzzles are maybe a smidge more difficult than the last couple of months, but nothing monstrous in there, and people do seem to be enjoying them, which is grand. And if you're fond of watching a man really have to beat his head against a wall to solve a puzzle, also over on Patreon is my solve of the latest Phistomefel puzzle. This Slitherlink Liars is what it's called, and it is ferocious. Absolutely brutal. It took me 100 minutes to solve, so if you find yourself at a loose end and you've got plenty of time, you can watch that video over there as well. Now, all that said and done, let us have a look at Smorg and understand what the rules are of this puzzle by Jacob and Woofers for Gig. They are as follows. Fill some cells in the grid with the digits 1 to 9 such that no digit repeats in a row or column, and some cells are left empty. All empty cells in the grid must be orthogonally connected. Now, some people worry about the word orthogonally. It sounds a very long word. It means something very simple. Orthogonally just means shares an edge. So those two cells are orthogonally connected. These two cells are not orthogonally connected because they only touch each other at a point. They need to share a long edge in order to be orthogonally connected. all digits all digits must belong to a region which is an orthogonally connected group of 9 cells. Digits may not repeat in a region, so we have to build the regions in this grid, and I don't think they need to be 3 by 3. It doesn't say they need to be 3 by 3, so we might have some funny shaped regions like that one. Regions may not touch each other orthogonally, and clues outside the grid give the sum of the digits before the first empty cell seen from that direction. So let's say we knew those 4 cells contain digits that sum up to 15, then we would know that this cell would have to be an empty digit. That's how this 15 clue ought to work. Now, there's still more rules. Let me carry on with those. A digit in a circle indicates how many of the 8 surrounding cells are empty. So that's interesting. So let's imagine those... Oh, no, hang on. Let's pick something in the middle of the grid so I can't mess up the example. Let's imagine those 2 cells were empty and these cells were all... In fact, this isn't going to be a good example because I can see how this will fail. But anyway, let's just look at this 3 by 3. Then this cell ought to be a 2, I think is what it's saying, because it sees 2 empty cells. In fact, that might have worked. I'm not sure it wouldn't have worked, but that's how these circles seem to work. A cell with a circle must contain a digit, and not all circles are necessarily given. Right, so I think that's saying, let's say that 2 was like this, then this could have had a circle because it does see 2 empty cells, but it doesn't have one, and that's fine. We just know that these cells here definitely have this constraint that they tell you the count of the empty cells surrounding them. So it's a very interesting, quite a long rule set, but nothing too complicated, I don't think. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. And now I get to play Let's Get Cracking. And I'm tempted today to start off by going chromatically crazy. Because we know all of the digits in the... Well, we know all the circles contain digits. And I know that 6 and 2 are digits. So I know all of those cells are greenable. And look, we can just go around the grid, can't we? And like tick off at the minimum number of cells that must contain digits before empty cells. So 18, well, you can't make 18 in only 2 cells because 9, you can't repeat 9. So those 3 cells at least must be green. A 10 must be, you can't put 10 into there, so those 2 must be green. 8 can be 1 cell, 17 can be 2 cells, 8 can be 1 cell, although I've just seen a reason that won't work. I'll come back to that. 20 must be at least 3 cells, 14 must be at least 2 cells, 8 and 5 can be 1 cell, 13 must be at least 2, 8 must be at least 1, 15 must be at least 2. Right, and I can see 2 things. I can see loads of things of interest here. Loads of things. Right, let us get on with interesting things. This cell cannot be empty because it said in the instructions, I think it said anyway, yes, all of the empty cells must be orthogonally connected. So this would be a stranded empty cell, and that's just mean. We don't want to leave the empty cells on their own, so that must be green. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's a 6 region connecting to a 3 region. So now these 2 cells must be whatchamacallit, they must be empty, because otherwise we're going to create a 10 cell region, and that's not allowed. And then we must take this one, so we must connect this all up. So this all seems very, very, very nice at the moment. Now I can fill this digit in, can't I? That must be a 3, because it can't see any more empty cells. So that is a 3. Oh, but that could just be 8. Oh no, hang on. I was about to say this could just be 8 and 9, but it can't be 8 and 9 making 20, because then that cell would be empty, and this green region wouldn't be 9 cells, so the green region must grow. And I'm distracting myself from what I noticed about this clue up here. This is an 8 clue, And if you were to put 8 in this cell, then both of those would obviously have to be empty, and now we've got a 1 cell region in the corner. Now 1 is not the same as 9. We need 9 cell regions. So this is impossible. And both of, well, we can't put 8 in the corner, whoopsie. So we must grow in both directions to prevent that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, now look, this square must be empty, or we're connecting a 5 cell region and a 4 cell region with that cell to make at least a 10 cell region, so both of those are empty. Same thing is true here, that's a 6 and that's a 4, so that's going to create an 11 cell region, so both of those are empty. And I'm just trying to see if I can see anything straightforward here. Okay, these two circles are, I think, very constrained. Well, firstly, this cell can't be more than a 2 because we can't fit more than 2 empty cells here. And this cell can't be more than a 3, but it can't be 3 because if it was 3, all 3 of these cells would be empty and we'd have created a 6 cell region at the top of the grid. Now that's interesting because these are now a 1-2 pair, but this domino here is seen by both of these cells. So whatever goes in this domino will contribute to the count of both of these. Both of these is empty cell total. Now these cannot have the same digit in them. So the only way of breaking the impasse, if you like, of stopping there being a stalemate, is to ensure that this cell has a positive count. So that must be empty. And therefore it's seen by this one, but not this one, allowing this to, and this must be the greater one. So that's a 2, that's a 1. We don't know which of those is the empty cell, at least I don't think we do. Yeah, well that's true, but of course, when one of these, and only one of them, is empty, the other one is green, and it's going to connect to this domino and create a 9 cell region. So this little domino must be ringed by empty cells. This is very cute. Those two cells add up to 15. How do I... Oh, I know how to do this as well, of course. If this one was the empty cell, this one would be green and the empty cell would be stranded, and that's not allowed. So that must be green, and we've got this sort of, I don't know, it's a mirror image of 9 in the grid. And now we shall, might be able to use the secret. Now the secret, of course, is something I only tell my very favourite people, but if you're watching this video, you're definitely among my very favourite people. And the secret is that any 9 cell region of a Sudoku, because it contains all the digits 1 to 9 once each, it sums to 45. But look now, we know those 3 add up to 18, these 2 add up to 15, so that's 33. Those add up to 3, so that's 36. So these 2 add up to 9. Bobbins, okay. So that's either 3, 6 or 4, 5, but I don't think I know which. Not sure. Okay, so now we shall say that circle has to be at least a 3. Although, okay, I think that's probably not too difficult. Oh no, maybe, actually no, it is difficult. It's really difficult. Oh, right, no, it's really, actually this is beautiful. This is beautiful, okay. That is a 3. It's exactly a 3 for a rather cute reason to do with 8s. How could this be an empty cell? And the answer is it can't be, because whatever I put in the corner, let's put 3 in the corner, just because it'll remind us of the song. That's 3 in the corner. But if this was a 3, what would you put in both of those cells now? You'd have to put the same digit, and that digit would repeat in the green region, which is not allowed. So this cannot be an empty cell, and must therefore be green, which means that now, how many... Yeah, I was just about to say, oh no, I can't get to the right count, but now I can. this must be greater than 1 and 2, and it can't be greater than 3. So it is a 3. And, oh, this is lovely. Right. You can't make an 8 sum 4 cells large because the triangular number for 10, the triangular number for 4 is 10. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 10. So if you extend this and put this as green, this clue would be at least a 10, and it's only 8. So that's got to be a dark cell. This 6 cell region needs to grow to become a 9 cell region. Now it's a 7 cell region, and whichever cell it takes next connects it to this circle to make a 9 cell region. So this 9 cell region must be bounded, otherwise it's going to grow too large. And this sum of 3 cells adds to 8 and doesn't include a 3. So that's 1, 2 and 5, and that's not 1 or 2, that is 5. Yes, okay, I can see how this puzzle is very doable so far, but not in a way that's sort of trivial. It's enjoyable. That's got to be a 3 or a 5. We know those two add up to 9. This 1, 2, 3. Oh, look, this mustn't be. Yeah. Oh, this is gorgeous. Right. This is going to tell us how this region grows. Mary, Mary, quite contrary. How does your garden grow? So yeah. Don't think I can build Jacob and Rufus for Gig into that nursery rhyme. But this square, it sees 3 at the moment. It can't be 3, so it must see another empty cell, which can only go there. So that's empty. That's green. We bound the green with empties. This empty domino mustn't be alone, so it's got to join to its friends. This square here is a 4. That cell there is at the moment seeing 4, but it must see more. Oh, it can't. Yeah, it must be 6 because it can't be 5. It would repeat in its region, and it can't see more than 6 because there aren't more than 6 possible empties around it. So that's a 6. This is a 7, 8, 9 triple, and we can possibly worry about this circle, which can't be a 1, 2 or a 3, and it can't be a 5, because if it's a 5 you have to ring it like that and you're going to create a 4 cell region. So that's a 4, therefore that's a 6 and that's a 3. The 15 must be a 7, 8 pair because it can't be 6, 9, and hopefully the remaining digits in this region will add up to 18, and they are 4, 5 and 9, and they do. So that's not 9. Oh, the 17 with a 4 here. Well, we can't put 13 into this cell, so that's got to grow. I want to sort of do Nurikabe logic and stop this from being a dark cell and creating a 2 by 2 of blacks, but oh, look, this green region has to grow, so both of those have to grow. And now I can't connect this region to this region, or I'd create a far too large a meadow in this grid, so that's got to be empty. Empty cells have to connect to their friends. All of this is just growing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's perfect. Right, so everything there gets ringed with empties. That's going to make this count fairly high, isn't it? It's now seeing 3. It could see a 4th. Oh, it's not a 3 because there's a 3 in the row. So it needs to see a 4th, which makes this cell empty. Oh, and that is 4. Okay, right, sorry. This was obvious the moment I put 4 in here. I just didn't think about it. How do you get that to a count of 4, given that it's already got 4 cells around it that are not empty? Well, the only way is if all of those are empty. That's now got to connect to grow large enough to make a 9 cell region. That's got to grow. Oh, look, yeah. This region on the right needs to connect to its friends, so it's got to come through here. This has got to grow. 2, 3, 4. We need one more. And this one, if we take green here, this little tetromino is isolated from its friends. That's not allowed, so that's got to be empty. This has got to grow, and then we've got to close off this 9-cell region. 5, 6, it is 9, yeah, okay. So that's all totally forced. Let me just see if I can see anything easy now. The answer to that is 7, 8 pair there gives me a 9, so I can. These have got to add up to 17 without using 1, 2, 3 or 5. 4, so it's 4, 6 and 7. We've just got to minimize these digits, otherwise we're going to blow our 20 total. Whoopsie. So it's 4, 6 and 7. Which means these cells have got to be the other digits. So they are 1, 5, 8 and 9. That can't be 9 or 8. It sees 8 and 9 in its column. Everything else is totally useless. Bobbins. This is a 14 sum and can't use a 6, so that's 5 and 9, which actually does simplify this cell slightly. Oh, that's just an 8, look, from the clue. So that's an 8. That's lovely. And this can't be just a 5 because the 5 will repeat in its region. So it must grow, and it can't grow more. It can't grow to here because the triangular number for 3 is 6, so it must stop there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right. I see exactly what's going on here. This is, I think this is lovely. It is like Nurikabi meets Sudoku. How does this grow to reach a count of 9? Now, if we give it this cell, where does it take its next cell from? Because it's now of size 8. It can't take this one, or it becomes of size 10, and it can't take this one, or it becomes of size 11. So this is impossible and must be empty, which forces this one, and now we've got a 9-cell green. So all of those go in. This has to connect to friends. Now, what's going on in this top bit now? This 13 is not 5, 8, so it's either 4, 9 or 6, 7. This 5 clue can't be 1, 4, so that's 2, 3. Oh, this 8 clue's just done. We can fill that in, which makes that 7 and that 8. 1, 2, 3. Oh, we haven't got 9 green cells in the top row, so we can't quite. How are we going to do these 1s and 2s then? Oh, I see. We use the 8 clue. That's how we do it. This 7 means that's got to be a 1. That's got to be a 2. So that's got to be a 2 or a 3 by Sudoku, and it can't be a 2 by Sudoku, so that's a little old 3. These two cells now add up to 10, and they're not 3, 7, 2, 8 or 4, 6. So this is a 1, 9 pair. There's a 9 here. This has been put together very skillfully, hasn't it? To be a very smooth solve. Now these cells have now got to be 2, 5 and 7. Yes, 7 must go here. So and this 2, 3 disambiguates everything, so that becomes 2, 5. Now, what's the count that this cell has then? This sees a lot of empty cells. At the moment it sees 5, but it can't be 5. There's a 5 already. So that has to be 6. That has to be empty. Those two squares have got to be a 1, 7 combination. There's a 7 here. Of course there is. So that's 7. That's 1. Oh, that's not 1 or 9. Oh, or 8. Because of this 8 clue. So that's become a 5, that's a 1, that's an 8, and that's a 9. Oh, I see. So that's how this little string's getting resolved. Now, do we know... How does this region connect to its friends? Yeah, what it can't do is come down the left side of the grid, because if it does that, look, it isolates this cell from a 9-cell region. So we must connect here. And that's given us a 10-cell region here, which we know. So we know one of the remaining cells in this 10-cell region is empty, but we don't know which one, or you guys probably do, but I don't know yet. Let me just think about this. 3 here, it's giving me a 3 and a 2. 7 here is giving me, I can knock 6, 7 out of this. So this is 4 or 9. This 10 clue is giving me a 4 here. Yeah, there's loads of opportunities to make more progress, I think, if you were doing this in a perfect order. This 4-9 resolves the 9-5 pair at the start of this 14 clue. So is this known? Yes. That's got to be a 6. And this is 4-7, but that doesn't seem to be resolved. Right, it must be this clue then. So this clue at the moment sees 5, and it can be 5 actually. Oh, that's interesting. So that's a 5 or a 6 then. It can't be more than 6 because that would put too many empty cells in these 3 cells. We know we can only have one more empty cell in this 10-cell region here. So it's either is 5 or 6. But that's not. That doesn't seem to be enough to finish the puzzle, does it? Now, what do we know about a 9-cell region in this grid? It must have all of the digits in it. Where is the 1 digit going in this region? I think it has to be there. And that tells us the 8. Right, so the 8 clue now sees its first empty cell there, which tells us that that must be a 7. Which means that's a 7 and that's an 8. Oh, that 7 is disambiguated, the 7 and the 4. Okay. We still... Could this be the empty cell? Oh, okay. 3 has to find a home in here. That's got to be there now. So that's another cell used up. 1, 2, 2. 2 has to be exactly there, I think. So we're slowly whittling away at this. So this... how do we do this? Have I got... Is it Sudoku or something? 8. Okay, 8's got to find a home here. That's got to be there. Right, and that's done it. That has done it, because now... The opportunities for our last empty cell are this one or this one, and I can't be this one because it wouldn't connect to its friends. So it must be that one. This must reach a count of 6, and this must be the other digit now, which is a 5, and the 5 and the 9 resolves the top of the grid. That is very, very cool indeed, and that, I think, is a strange finish because I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, I've got 6 regions. Normally, of course, we'd have 9, but then normally we would have a 9 by 9 grid and not a 10 by 10 grid. Let's see if yay, Sven Software somehow knows that this is correct. I do not know how. I'm just checking the circles. I think it feels like a correct solution. I think I did it logically. I hope you had a go at that because that was really fun, and it really wasn't too difficult today. It was just you know, a lot of smooth logic. What did I like most about it? I liked the 8 clues up here. I think the way they resolved themselves and the fact that you couldn't actually have... First, you couldn't have a 1-cell clue, and then you couldn't have 2 2-cell clues was very cute indeed. So let me know in the comments how you got on. I do enjoy reading the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.